Great Scott! Adam Scott here. Now, Microsoft has done a great job of preserving Xbox's gaming library through backwards compatibility. From the Xbox 360, there are 632 games which are available on the Xbox One and Xbox Series consoles through backwards compatibility. The problem is there were over 2,100 games released on that console. This means more than 2/3 of that library is locked away and only available on the original console. We're going to take a look at 10 of those games today, 8 of which are great, and 2 are best left in the past. Let's take a look.
Yeah, I'm here to fight.
Dead or Alive 5 is of course the 5th mainline DOA game. This was released in 2012, developed by Team Ninja and published by Koei Tecmo. Now Team Ninja may sound familiar. They did the recent Ninja Gaiden games, Hyrule Warriors, Neo, and actually the recent Stranger of Paradise Final Fantasy Origin that came out this year, and the wildly anticipated Wo Long Fallen Dynasty that should come out next year. Like the other DOA games, this is built on a rock-paper-scissors system where strikes break throws, throws beat holds, and holds beat strikes. What's new in DOA 5 is how highly destructible the environments are. This is a real step up from DOA 4, with new mechanics and far better visuals. You can see the fighters getting more sweaty and the costumes getting more dirty as the fights progress. And of course there are some improved physics. Something that's new in this entry is something called a power blow, which enables you to knock opponents back in a specific direction. So you can throw your opponent into a danger zone and tip the balance of the fight in your favor. Most reviews were positive, praising the graphics and the animation, and the overall spectacle, as well as the deeper gameplay. In 2009, X-Men Origins Wolverine released and is loosely based on the movie of the same name, but it's not what you expect when you think of a licensed movie tie-in game. This is a hack-and-slash adventure game developed by Raven Software. Most recently, they're one of the several developers who work on the Call of Duty franchise. The publisher is Activision, but don't hold it against this game. This is an M-rated game featuring my favorite of all the X-Men, Wolverine, but with gameplay that's pretty inspired by God of War. Yes, it's as awesome as it sounds. There are light and heavy attacks, grabs, and a lunge where you can reach out and touch someone to death. Also, you can use the environment to your advantage so you can impale enemies on spikes. It's killer. As the rage meter fills, you can use stronger attacks or a berserk mode, which increases claw strength until the meter empties. Throughout, you gather XP to level up and add moves, and make the already badass Wolverine even more badass. This is interesting. Following the expiration of Activision's licensing deal with Marvel, the game was delisted and removed from all digital storefronts in 2014. So it's only been possible to get this game physically for the past 8 years. Also, it was the last standalone Wolverine game, until the recent announcement from Insomniac of the Wolverine game that should be coming out next year on the PS5. Do you like arcade racing? Do you like beautiful realistic graphics? Do you like Mario Kart? Well, this blends all three. It's an action racing vehicle combat game that uses actual real cars. Blur released in 2010, it's an arcade racer with vehicle combat. Think of a more realistic Mario Kart. This was developed by Bizarre Creations. Now they're known for Project Gotham Racing, The Club, and their last title was James Bond 007 Bloodstone. Now this is before Activision shut them down. Yes, Activision also is the publisher of this game, and they have a history of just gobbling up good development studios and shitting them out. This features real-life racer Danica Patrick, and real cars, so the Ford GT, Dodge Viper, Lotus, BMW, and they all have full damage modeling, which is really rare for licensed cars. You pick up power-ups for offense like missiles or defense like shields. While the combat and power-ups are great, what really matters is the driving, and it's a blast. Fast-paced and relentless, where quick reflexes make the difference. The controls are tight and responsive. In career mode, pull off tricks or use power-ups to get fan points, which you can then use to purchase more cars and parts. At the end of each stage, there's a boss race. When you defeat the boss, you get these mods that make the standard power-ups even more powerful. There's 4-player split-screen multiplayer, or you can play with up to 20 people online. Now, as great as this game is, it didn't sell so well, so a sequel is pretty unlikely.
I knew you'd come.
El Shaddai Ascension of Metatron is one of those rare hidden gems that probably flew under your radar. This was released in 2011 and developed and published by UTV Ignition Games. Now, this is a subsidiary of Walt Disney India. The development was led by Sawaki Takayasu, an artist and character designer on Devil May Cry, Okami, and Fatal Frame Mask of the Lunar Eclipse. This shows the pedigree, and this game really shows it with a visual style all its own. This is an action-adventure game unlike anything you've played before. It has a really unique story about fallen angels that have accelerated human evolution, and you're Enoch, who is sent to Earth by God to stop these fallen angels. You battle your way through humans, Nephilim, which are human-angel hybrids, and the fallen angels to stop humanity's ultimate destruction. You wear this holy armor that breaks off as you take damage. When all the armor is knocked off, you have a small window to repair all the armor, or you have to restart a checkpoint. There are 3 weapon types, Arch, Gale, and Veil, and they each have their own strengths and weaknesses. Arch is for close combos, Gale is for long range, and Veil is slow but powerful. Now, over time the weapons will dull, so you can either repair them or you can actually steal weapons from the enemies. This totally flew under the radar, and likely is one that will just get lost to time.
Welcome to my bedroom. Don't think that me letting you in here is an invitation for any funny stuff. I mean, not that I have a problem with funny stuff.
I love talking about Lollipop Chainsaw. This came out in 2012. It's a hack and slash game developed by Grasshopper Manufacture. The director is none other than Goichi Suda, also known as Suda51, of Killer is Dead, No More Heroes, and Shadows of the Damned fame. He has a style all his own, and it really comes out in this game. Now, today is a big day. Not only is it Juliet's 18th birthday, but she plans to introduce her boyfriend Nick to her family for the first time. There's only one small problem. Today is also the start of the zombie apocalypse. The good news, Juliet comes from a family of zombie hunters. Yeah, it's that type of game.
What the fuck?
One thing leads to another and Nick loses his head, so Juliet keeps it on her at all times as she fights the hordes of zombies. Juliet uses a ton of different melee attacks. She uses dodges, both high and low attacks with her chainsaw, and when zombies are stunned, you can instantly kill them with a chainsaw attack. You smash objects, save classmates, and kill zombies to earn medals, which can then be used to purchase new moves, combos, and stats. When sparkle hunting, that's when you kill 3 or more zombies simultaneously, you earn platinum medals, which can then be used to unlock costumes, music, and artwork. While there was some criticism around the repetitiveness of the gameplay, I found that the overall charm, the humor, and the quirkiness really shined through and made it enjoyable from beginning to end.
According to the Mir 12 journal, there's a hidden entrance in this building that leads to the vault. Find it.
If you like BioShock, you're gonna like Singularity. This was released in 2010 and developed by Raven Software and published once again by Activision. This is a first-person shooter with horror elements in an alternate history setting using power. Pretty similar, right? By going back and changing history in 1955, you change events in the present. Now your powers really focus on time manipulation. You use a device called the Time Manipulation Device, or the TMD. You can do things like accelerate time and turn your enemies into dust, or reverse time to repair a damaged bridge. You can even freeze time to hold items in stasis. It's pretty cool the variety of different time powers that you get. Throughout the game, you can use power stations to increase the power of your TMD to control even more of the fabric of time. You like Street Fighter? You like Tekken? Well, why not mix them together in a blender? And that's where you get Street Fighter Cross Tekken, released in 2012 and developed by Capcom. This is a pretty slick crossover between the two franchises, where characters from both series fight in two-person tag team matches. It uses the Street Fighter 6-button system for all of the characters. However, the Tekken characters are able to perform Tekken-style combos using the primary 4 buttons, similar to the Tekken's 4-button system. As you fight, you build up the cross gauge, which allows you to perform different techniques based on how much of it's filled, such as EX attacks, cancels, supers, and more. If you like tag team fighting, this one's great and heavily emphasizes the tag team system. You switch in and out of combos so that you can launch opponents in the middle of your combo and continue with another character. You can chain together attacks between different characters, and even the ability to control both characters at the same time for a period of time. There was going to be a Tekken Cross Street Fighter game using Tekken's fighting system, but that never materialized.
Right, he's down. Let's go, more dirt. More dirt. All right, gravestone. Ready. Handle, bring him down.
Okay, the Gunstringer is one of the very few good games using the Kinect. This was released in 2011 and is a third-person shooter on rails. This is developed by Twisted Pixel. They're mostly known for small indie titles and published by Microsoft Studios. This is one of the very few Kinect games where you're not fighting the controls, and where this control scheme is actually better than the standard controller. You are the Gunstringer, an undead marionette sheriff in the Old West who is betrayed by his posse. You rise from the grave, bent on revenge.
Those who tasted of it would be forever changed.
You control the marionette with one hand holding the strings and your other hand aiming and firing the gun. You can mark multiple enemies with your gun hand and fire all of them when you move your hand up. There's a ton of charm where the whole game is presented as if it's in a theater stage in front of a live audience, with cheaply made sets. If you have a 360 and a Kinect, this is definitely a must-play.
As the wavy tube man received his everlasting, the Gunstringer felt the hand of fate upon him.
Rise of Nightmares is the opposite of every nice thing I said about the Gunstringer. This was released in 2011 and is a first-person survival horror game using the Kinect. The only thing that's scary about it is just how terrible it is. In this game, you play as Josh, and you must save your wife Kate from a really generic mad scientist. This has a couple of firsts for the Kinect. It's the first with a violent M rating, and one where you have full range of motion. The problem is the motion controls are the ultimate downfall. Admittedly, attacking, kicking doors, and even sidestepping to avoid attacks actually work pretty well. The problem is the basic movement just does not work. Simply trying to walk forward, or heaven forbid actually turning, will reveal the true horrors of the Kinect. Ride to Hell Retribution. This was announced in 2008 as Ride to Hell, and this was going to be an open world biker gang adventure, think GTA, but with more leather. Now that game was quietly cancelled, but in 2013, This linear game, Ride to Hell Retribution, came out, and it's not anything like GTA at all. This is not a good game. Well, what are the issues, you may ask? It has clunky and repetitive gameplay, broken controls, ugly graphics, bad writing, poor voice acting, terrible AI. The only fully clothed, dry humping, but not meant to be dry humping sex scenes I've ever seen. Like, what in the world even is this? I mean, what's even supposed to be happening? I can't even wrap my head around what this is supposed to be. Offensive portrayals of women, constant bugs and technical issues, and scaled down and overly simplified linear story. It's just bad. Thankfully, this will be lost to time.
Try that way. Pussy here, dope there.
Okay, well, there are 10 games that are trapped on the Xbox 360 hardware. Have you played any of these games? What'd you think about them? And what game should I cover in the next episode? Because there are a ton of games that are still trapped away on that hardware. I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments down below. Now, if you like this video, give it a like, and if you haven't done so, subscribe to the channel to expand your gaming horizons. Okay, till next time.